This is the 5-inch rough country lift for the 07 to 13 Chevrolet 1500 and GMCs, of course. If it's 2 and 4-wheel drive, if it's 2-wheel drive, it just won't consist of the differential brackets and skid plate and the axle spacers, but everything else is the same. The 7.5-inch kit is also the same as this. These are the exact same lift. The only difference is that your strut spacer and your rear blocks are 2.5 inches taller on the 7.5-inch kit. Will provide 7.5 inches of lift, where this one will give you 5. I've been getting a lot of questions, so I just kind of wanted to go over this. This one and the 7.5-inch kit are my number 1 and number 2 selling kits. We do more of these than anything, and for good reason. They're great kits, they're affordable, and they ride great and drive great. So I'm just going to kind of go over it. Your front cross member is made of 4-inch plate, as is most of the kit. So you got the RCX logo in it. It's extremely strong. It has the nuts welded into the bottom here so the skid plate can mount up to it. Got your rear cross member here, which is also made from 1/4-inch plate, reinforced. It's extremely strong. You're not going to be in these, and these are 1-piece cross members, of course, and that's really all we would go with is 1-piece cross members. It's much nicer than some of the other kits that use the piece together stuff. Strut spacers. We prefer the strut spacers over new struts because most of the time new struts are going to make it ride stiff, stiffer than factory. Aside from the Bilstein 5100 adjustable struts, which we'll address in another video, but these will keep your stock ride, which is a big plus. Your differential brackets here drop it a full 5 inches, and you have your skid plate here, which will bolt to your front and rear cross members and add a little strength there, as well as protect your differential. And you got your axle spacers. These are made from a nylon composite. They're not plastic. This is a very, very strong synthetic material. These are needed because of the track width increase, and the track width increase is done so that you have additional clearance between your knuckle and your tire. This is your new knuckle. Move some of this so you can see it a little better. But when your tire rides here, if they do not bring your top of your ball joint in, then the tire will go right here. So they bring this in. Actually, what they're doing is pushing everything else out 1.5 inches, which gives you the wider track width and gives you room to run the bigger tires without it rubbing on your knuckle. Your steering is addressed by raising the tie rod boss up so that you don't have to actually drop none of your steering down. Your steering stays in the factory location, and this design is much better than the old designs when you would have all the drop steering linkages and stuff. This is just a whole lot better. This will make it ride and drive just like stock. And these, of course, are going to be your differential drop brackets here. Drop it down 5 inches to correct your axle angle. These are your sway bar drop brackets. They're going to drop your sway bar down. It's going to maintain your factory sway bar lengths. The holes in the control arms will be drilled over about 1 inch, so that since the track width is increased, the sway bar lengths are not in any kind of bind. They're back just like how they were from the factory, just slightly moved and dropped. These are going to be your brake line drop brackets. It just relocates it down a few inches so that you can have plenty of slack in your lines. These are the rear blocks that come with the kit. They're a 4.5 inch, and I believe the factory blocks are like 1 3/4 inches, and the factory blocks are removed, and these are installed with it all installed. Your truck will normally be about 1/2 inch lower in the front, which is not noticeable, but it will have a slight rate to it. What we do, if people want completely level, or they're wanting to run just slightly bigger tire, as the 5-inch kit, 33 by 1250 is usually as big as we want to go. But if we put lower strut spacers, these bolt below the strut, will give an additional 1/2 inch of lift to get you at 5.5 inches, and it'll set dead level. This will clear a 34-inch tire. Needs to be on a factory back spacing wheel or a factory wheel. If they stick out real far, it's going to cause it to rub. General rule: the further the wheels and tires stick out, the more likely it's going to need. The more likely it will be to rub, the more lift you'll need for the same size tire. All right. Another thing that thing we do on some of these is if you want it to be 6 inches, because Rough Country only offers 5 and 7.5 for the small truck. Some guys want 6 and they want to go Rough Country. So what we do in that situation is we'll do you can buy the 5-inch kit, and we can either use the lower strut spacers, a 1-inch lower strut spacer, or we can do the Bilstein adjustable struts and set it appropriately. And what we'll do on the back is go with a 5-inch rear block, and that will set it up at 6 inches of lift, and it will clear a 34 also, but you can put it on a wider wheel or more offset wheel, and if that's the look you want to go with. And if we set these side by side, you can see here that this one is a 1/2 inch taller. Like I said before, the 5-inch kit comes a 1/2 inch lower in the front. So with this, we would do a 1/2 inch taller block in the back, 1-inch strut spacer up front, or the Bilstein adjustable struts, and it would set at 6 inches, or we could go on up to 6.5 or wherever the customer wanted it to be at. And since the front track width is pushed out 1.5 inches on each side, we like to run the hub-centric 1.5 inch rule spacers on the back. It just makes the back tires stick out just as much as the front tires and gives it a little better look to it. Kind of looks funny if you don't put them on there. We usually install these. These are $150 installed whenever we do them, so it's not much additional cost on the setup. That pretty much wraps it up. You can either do the 2.0 or the 2.2 shocks with this kit. Both of them are great shocks. Comes with the 2.0. The 2.2 is the upgrade. We do lots of trouble with both of them. We haven't had any problems out of either shock, so you can't go wrong with either one of them. We've already installed the shocks on this particular truck, so we'll hopefully get the rest of this kit installed tomorrow, and then once it's on there, we'll post up another video showing you the finished product. But stay tuned until then.